Hello guys, and welcome to Sabina Adewale's Poetry Online Sessions, Sabina Adewale's YouTube channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I'm recording from Slough, still in Slough. So I've pulled my blinds, it's a bit late in the evening, and I want to thank you all for subscribing and liking our videos, and I'll encourage you to push that subscribe button still in order to get more content from Sabina's Poetry Online sessions. So today is session 7, and we're going to be looking at epistolary poems. What is an epistolary poem? An epistolary poem is a poem written in form of a letter to a person, either from your past or a person from history or a place. And it could be examined as a structure that looks for patterns as well. And you can also look to see what patterns or syllables have come up in your poem. So a poem that's written as a verse or a letter to somebody or a place in the past or in history is what we call an epistolary poem. They date as far back as 43 BC, and the earliest one was by a Roman poet called Ovid in 43 BC. And he wrote the Heroids, which are letters to the heroines, which is a collection of 15 epistolary poems, which talk about how they were treated or mistreated or neglected, these 15 heroines, and how they were abandoned. And that's the most common one in the Greek and Roman mythology. So today I'm going to read you one that I composed some time ago. And I just thought I should give you a bit more background before I do that, actually. It could also be seen as a composition in prose or poetry, which is written in the form of a letter or to a particular person, like I said, or a group of people, or categorized as letter writing. So there are different forms. There are also 21 epistles in the Bible, apparently, and they are mostly in the New Testament. And these are letters, many of which were written by Paul. So there's a bit of a religious background to epistolary poetry. And the names of these are in Romans, like I said, or in the Greeks. You have some in the Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians, Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. So let me read the one, or how I could encourage you to write your own epistolary poem would be to think of a place. It might be somewhere that you've enjoyed, that you've traveled to. Or maybe you want to write a poem about Dubai, for instance, and you can title it Dear Dubai, or Dear Burj Khalifa, or Dear Dubai Mall, and write about your experience in any of those locations. So the one I'm going to read to you today is called Dear Daddy, and it's a poem that I wrote as part of a competition in one of the poetry groups, Poetry Center. And I think we had a team to write about father and son. So I came up with this poem. We had a picture prompt of a father and a son. So I said, Dear Daddy, I want to grow up and be a man. Be strong and walk in your footsteps. You taught me how to drive and believe in who I want to be, so that I am Lewis Hamilton. You taught me how to fly a kite in the form at the weekend, so that I am a pilot. You taught me how to balance on my bike, and to that I'm grateful to be that cyclist. You taught me how to swim with my head underneath water, and to that I'm an Olympiad. Thank you, Daddy. And this poem is from your son. And I wrote this in July 2021, and I was inspired to write about the theme of a father and son. So from that poem, you could see this is just a poem from a little boy to his dad, who he's been inspired by his dad's actions of teaching him how to cycle, teaching him how to swim, teaching him how to become a car racer. And it's just more like a tribute to his dad. So it's in the form of a letter or an epistle. So your assignment for today is maybe think of someone that might have inspired you. I gave you the example of writing about Burj Khalifa or Dubai Mall, or you might want to write about Winston Churchill, or you might want to write about Nelson Mandela, or Barack Obama, and just title a letter to any of those people. Or maybe you might want to write about somebody in history. So those are different ways, Muhammad Ali, to write an epistle, and that will be your epistolary poem. So I was going to read you one more. I always like to read from my poetry group here, and this one I'm going to read is from one of the members that we actually lost some time ago. And the poem is called Lost by Jenny Grant. I'm in a different world since you left. Less light, less color. I lost my innocence. Nothing tastes like it used to. I have no thirst. Instead of sleeping, I miss you and lie awake aching. Tears slide down my cheeks and in lines to my pillow damp. The night falls into dawn and seasons change. Christmas is less jolly. I put away my tree and fill the void with wool. No decorations, fruit cake or cheese biscuits, no pot. New Year turns up. I'm asleep at 10. There's no one to call and wish at midnight. Are there fireworks somewhere? And that was a poem by one of the members from my poetry group who we lost some time ago. And that's a tribute. She calls it Lost. So I'm not too sure who she might have lost in that poem, but it looks like she's lost someone very close to her and she's written a letter to that person. Christmas isn't the same anymore. She doesn't put up a Christmas tree anymore. There's no pot. On New Year's Day, she goes to bed at 10. It sounds a bit like a sad poem, but at the end of the day, it's an epistolary poem, which is a letter to somebody or history or a place. So I hope you've enjoyed our session today, and I hope you can go off and come up with your own. So your assignment would be to think of a place or a person in history or in the Bible or a location and write a letter to that person or place or somebody in history. And when you've done that, I would suggest you post it on the chat. Or alternatively, if you want to join the poetry sessions, we've got a group and you could comment on the feed and then we could add you to join the group. But the condition to join the group would be to like 3 poetry videos. This is session 7. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then we can add you to the group. The plan going forward is to either come up with a poetry anthology for beginners where we could compile all the poems that have been created during these sessions and hopefully publish it. So you're welcome to join us at any time as long as you've liked 3 videos and have subscribed to the channel. So my name is Sabina Adewale. I'm a poet, a writer, and author of 8 books, including my memoirs, Memoirs, Empowerment, Defiance, which was published in October. And I'm also a life coach, and I own Peacock Coaching Services, which hopefully will be up and running soon, and you might be able to book yourself a coaching session. So feel free to join us, subscribe to this channel so you can get more content. And thank you for watching. And it's Sabina.